Welcome guys. Happy to see you guys in another video. I've been doing like videos ranging from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. That's usually by my zone so far. But it seems like many of you feel that that's slightly lengthy enough and you wanted me to try slightly short one. So I'm just going to keep my videos like between 5 to 7 minutes in duration. Sometimes I go like slightly beyond that because I want to do, extensively cover the topic that I cover. Right, so I try to keep it at that level, and if you guys receive it well, and if it kind of reaches more people, then I'll try to keep my format there. But time and again, I'll do very long form as well if I feel the need for it. So let's try to get into the topic for today. It's called the 4% rule. So among the early retiree communities, there's this thing called the 4% rule, or it's also called 4% SWR, or it's called 4% safe withdrawal rate. Like all things in personal finance, this is also has a lot of controversy and a lot of opinions around it. So let's talk about that slightly later. But for now, let's describe what safe withdrawal rate is. Safe withdrawal rate is the rate at which you withdraw money from your corpus to ensure that your corpus does not run out during the period of your retirement. So, well, in theory, it sounds very simple, but there are a lot of events like the economy can go through multiple cycles of ups and downs. The stock market will get impacted. There'll be wars in between, like we are experiencing right now. We don't know, like a kg of a tomato right now is costing around 30 or 40 rupees. It may end up costing 200 rupees or 2,000 rupees. We don't know down the 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. So how do we define what is the safe withdrawal rate? What percentage is the magical percentage? So, and there are multiple explanations to this. Let's see one by one. The three important one. I think people who do not have a lot of financial wisdom will end up making some random assumptions, and that's usually for Indians between 1 crore to 100 crores, right? And the second category of explanation is mostly given by financial advisors, and they use your pre-retirement income as a baseline, and they will also make an implicit assumption that you spend most of the money that you earn, and they usually quote a number between 5 to 25 crores. And the last is the category like us, people who are financial independence enthusiasts. These people usually go for 4% rate, which is, well, there is a backup for why 4% is quoted. And these people will usually take what is your annual expense that you project to be the annual expense post your retirement period. That is the baseline the fire enthusiasts will take in order to calculate your SWR. So yeah, with those three explanations, what exactly is the magical number? Let's say you have a stash of cash that you've set aside for your retirement, distributed across stocks, mutual funds, real estate, and any kind of assets, right? If it's stocks and mutual funds, it usually gives you dividends. If it's fixed deposits, it gives you interest rate, and if it's real estate, it gives you rent. So all of that, let's say across all the asset class, it brings you a 7% return every year. Out of the 7%, let's say inflation eats up 3%, which means you're left with 4%. So theoretically speaking, if you take 4%, there's no change to your retirement corpus because you're living off the return that is making minus the inflation. Well, wait, I know that many of you guys are now getting super excited because how can you explain such a complicated concept in so simple ways? Well, there are wars. You just explained yourself. And there could be economic turmoils and everything. Well, I have a backup to why this 4% is a safe withdrawal rate, right? There is a study called Trinity study which is made in the US. They've taken periods from 1920 to 2000 and looked at 30-year interval so that their objective is, or rather they define success as not running out of corpus for the next 30 years. So what that means is a person who's retiring at 1930 with a certain corpus will have to have the same corpus in 1960, assuming they're not working for that 30-year period, 1930 to 1960. And the next assumption is they are withdrawing only 4% from their corpus. So 1920 to 2000 is a good enough period where there are a lot of economic events and then there are a lot of market cycles that are also happening. So this study eventually proved that a 4% withdrawal rate, even in the worst case, is sufficient enough to not run out of corpus. Now, for financial independence enthusiasts like us, 30 years of retirement is not enough because we would like to retire early, which means our retirement period will be longer. Now, here is the math. Whether you're looking at a 30-year retirement period or you're looking at a 50-year retirement period, because you're only withdrawing the returns that your corpus is making and you're not actually eating into the corpus, whether your retirement period is 30 years or multiply that by 30x, you'll still need the same corpus. So contrary to the popular opinion, your corpus does not increase just because your retirement period increases at a 4% withdrawal rate. That's what you need to understand as far into this. It's very simple, like home mortgages. You're taking a home loan at for a 30-year period at a certain interest rate. Imagine if you were to reduce the monthly EMI outflow, the 30-year mortgage will become 70-year or 80-year, depending on how much you're reducing the monthly EMI. It's very similar to that. The moment you change 4 to 5% withdrawal rate, then your math goes for a toss. So this is why I particularly recommend to people who wanted to maximize life experiences. And please note, I'm only giving this advice to people who are very meticulous with their math and very religious with their spending. For others, do not actually close the video at this point. Whatever I'm going to say after this does not apply to you. So for those of you guys who are good with math, and number two, who are very habitual with your spending patterns, you guys can actually continue to take a higher and higher withdrawal rate from your corpus, so that when you're about to die, I know I'm talking about a very unpredictable event like death, but you want to be very close to zero when you're about to die, so that you're not left with anything as money that you do not want to give away or do not have anyone to give away. Also not optimize for life experiences. So if you're planning to maximize life experiences, you need to do something called decumulation, contrary to accumulation, which is taking money actively out of your pockets. Well, guys, we've come to the end of it. Like I told, if you're doing a 4% withdrawal rate and you're a fire enthusiast, it's absolutely okay. There are studies that tell you that even in the worst case, you will be able to outlive your corpus. So thanks for watching. And one last thing, if you've come this far, I think you will find value in my videos. So watch a couple of videos. And statistics says that 99% of the people do not subscribe but still watch. And you do not want to be one of them if you find it valuable. So I'll see you in the next video soon enough. Thanks for listening to me again.